Hello,
Hello.
Hey,
how's everyone?
good,
Pretty good.
good.
Cat is not on there at this point.
I'm gonna mute because my dogs are having some kind of zoomy play session
Yeah, my
behind
cats may
me.
start fighting shortly.
So it they're boisterous right now.
We're going to give everybody a few more minutes and then we'll get started. Jenna, it's on the art and dripping, rolling and time and dough call. Got
Wine, cheers.
Ooh. I should run and get some.
I just poured some.
Yeah.
Just opened the bottle.
You have some time. Just grab the bottle. It's quick and
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
No judgment. Yeah.
We'll give
Yeah,
them
I
two.
was worried it wasn't gonna work because it was saying, the host had another meeting or something and
Oh
Yeah,
no.
wouldn't.
I think there was a bit of a snafu, but it's all fixed. Mhm. Celeste, Jenny, Hanlu, Irene, Olivia, and that's it for now. Jennifer says hi. She's halfway into a bottle of wine. No, actually, she had dinner.
Cheers. Cheers, Jennifer. I just I just opened some unoaked Chardonnay, my favorite.
Nice.
Yeah.
Share.
Yeah, since it'll be running from your computer, I'll just beep whenever you need to click the next one.
Fine.
So,
Let me just shrink this. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I think I have to shrink it in order to see who's coming in. All right, let's get started. Other people can join if they wish. So thanks for joining. We are excited because it seems like it's summer call season. So we have a lot going on, and we thought we would share some details about each of the calls. Jenny has some great tips for people submitting into any of the calls, and certainly we'll take all your questions either as we go along or at the end. So, Jenny, would you like to go?
I will. So the first call that we have going on right now is for rolling in time and dough. And for those of you that might not be familiar with it, it's a cafe coffee shop right there off of 290. And it is again like the one of the best places that we are excited about showing because everybody wanted a very public place and restaurants, things like that, is what we were striving for. So this one is, and it's going to be a reoccurring gallery. So every 4 months or so, we're gonna put more art in it. So we'll have another call that goes out sometime. Probably maybe at the end of September, beginning of October for the next round. And so what they're looking for is stuff that's bright, vibrant, and full of life. Um, the space that we have isn't very big, so we aren't going to have a ton of pieces. I think we might have room for about 20. And so we have put some guidelines on this one where we want the art to be less than 16 inches in any dimension. And we also think that smaller work, one, it'll allow us to show more of your work, but then the price points might be a little less. And in a setting like that, something that might be like under $100 or something might have more of a chance of getting sold. And we've never done this before, so we are learning as we go, just like y'all. There are a couple shelves for some 3D work. So whether that's sculptures or ceramics, something like that, we can accommodate that, but those need to be under 12 inches. And this one is one of our first ones that has a commission structure because they are going to be the ones that take care of the sale. So someone will just pick the piece off the wall, take it to the checkout counter, and buy it that way. So they are going to do a 70-30 split. And this is new. The submission fee for this one, we lowered it to $15 for three, and then $5 for an additional not to exceed five. So we had it at 30. That's usually our submission fee, but we're gonna lower it. And that one is due on the 25th. So that is about, less than 10 days from now. And then we'll have a reception. We're not exactly sure what time yet. I think they close like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we were thinking that the reception would be, like at 4 o'clock or so. So that is rolling in time. Oh, and one thing I will note on like a lot of our calls, that we put together a slideshow of the submissions and then we show that to the owner or the client or whoever is kind of the person in charge, and then they select which ones they want to show. So it's like we just kind of pull everything together and then they make the decision. So that is that. Any questions on this one? Okay.
I would just say I think we're so excited to be at Rolling in Time and Dough. I mean, the ultimate location with so much traffic. Fabian, the owner over there, is just a big supporter of the arts as well as the community in general. And so I think we're at a great place, and I would encourage everybody to submit into Rolling in Time and Dough. The reception is going to be a lot of fun as well. We're going to have not just you guys or the artists that are there and their families and friends, but we'll have other people from the Art League and people from the city and so forth. And we're looking forward to having a big to do, which is not only a celebration of the artist, but certainly the first great opportunity for some sales. I think with all the calls, when there are sales, then we would be back in touch with you to see if you have a replacement to put on the wall. So
Yes.
keep it full and keep some of your art on the walls.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Any any questions? All right.
Okay. And then the next one is the postcards. Do we have any photographers in online right now? Because this one is a little special where Destination Dripping Springs wants to put together some postcards that they will give away or have and so they are looking for imagery that is iconic Dripping Springs stuff. Um, it's free to submit, and you can submit up to 3 entries, and the deadline is this August 7th. But for on this one, they want photographs only. They don't want like a photograph that looks like a painting or a photograph of a painting. It needs to be a full photograph. And then they will like I guess when they select the ones that they want, they'll get with the artist to make sure that it's a high resolution and all the requirements. But they would like to see some montages, and they will give $100 to each image or a montage that someone creates. And the artist retains the copyright, and they can, reprint it and resell it. But the postcard is the right of Dripping Springs or Destination Dripping Springs. And then the information about the artist and the picture or the title will be on the back of the postcard. So, any questions on that one?
If you're a photographer or know a photographer, I think it's a great opportunity to get your artwork out there. And we're really working hard to try and provide more opportunities for 3D art and for photographers because I think we've missed some of those opportunities, and this is one of them. So think about picking up a camera.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
next. Okay, this one, this call has not gone live yet. We are still kind of ironing out some of the details, but we will have a reoccurring gallery space at Deep Eddy Vodka. So again, another very public place, and we're really, really excited about this one. But this one differs a little bit from Rolling in Time and Dough. They don't have a specific theme for this one, but they said that they are interested in stuff that features local hotspots, whether it's Austin or Dripping Springs. They like nature scenes from the hill country, that kind of stuff. We will have space for some, 2D wall art, but we also will have space for 3D work on the patio, and that's outside. Um, it's covered though, isn't it, Steve? Mostly. You're muted.
Yeah. Sorry, covered with slots. So rain and wind can get in there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it can get windy back there. So I would just, if you're doing like glass art, I would take special precautions with that. and you may want to go by and take a look at that area. But it is a great outdoor area with seating, and a lot of people on nice days are out there. And so, especially if you've got sculpture art, metal art, that sort of stuff, I think it's great opportunity to showcase that outside.
Yeah, yeah. And this would be a first for us, kind of doing the 3D stuff. So, uh, yeah, we're not sure. We do have we will have space for prints, and the print part is the thing that we're still kind of figuring out. But from what we understand is that Deep Eddy will select and buy the prints outright at the beginning of the display, and then they'll sell them. And so there won't be any commission structure or anything like that. And I thought we were going to have 3 different price points. So think of that, like if you have prints and think of the sizes. I think we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but then on this one, we are requiring that the artist will have to have a Venmo account. And just for consistency, I feel like we need to just stay with one and stay with Venmo and not do PayPal, Zelle, Cash App, whatever, like just stay with one. So, what we're imagining what will happen is that someone, if they want to buy something, they'll take it off they will do Venmo to the artist, and then we would like for the buyer to then show someone at Deep Eddy that, hey, I paid for this, and then they can walk with it. So that is the thing that we are still trying to kind of figure out. So if anybody has kind of done this before where, you're selling work in a restaurant kind of setting, and how do you sell it? There are not any dimension limitations on this one. However, I will note that we would rather not have anything that is over 4 feet by 4 feet in dimension, because that does not fit in most of our cars. So that has kind of come up before where we'll have to make special arrangements for the artist to pick up or drop off that directly. But that is just something that I have found out the hard way I was trying to buy a 4-foot canvas and it didn't fit in my car. So, anyway, but yeah, so this one there's no commission structure, and it's $30 to submit 3 entries and then $5 after each additional. The deadline for this is August 10th, and we'll have a reception on September 4th.
Jenny?
Yes.
On the sketch, it says that the call runs to the 14th of August, so it's the 10th. That's the deadline.
Okay. That's what we had in it as the 10th originally, but
I printed out the summer art calls just now, and it says that the call runs from 7:14 to 8:14.
okay.
So I'm just asking because I saw that.
I think that's,
I'm wondering if that, and we're installing on the 20th. That might be enough time. So whenever a call wraps up, then we need time on our end to you know, we
Mhm.
pull everything together and then sometimes we have to wait for that owner, that
Right.
person to make a decision.
Mhm.
And so we want to give them enough time. So,
Just, I mean, you know, it was
yeah,
only 4 days, but I just saw that and I printed it
yeah,
out so I'd have it here. But
Well, and thanks for bringing that up. And since, I mean, we were planning and expecting it to go live on Monday of this week. So depending on when it actually goes live, we may adjust some of the dates. And whatever is posted on the website when it does go live, those will be the actual dates. So any of them might change. I did talk just to try and fill in some of the gaps. I talked with the guys at Deep Eddy today. They're excited for us to be there. The challenge that they're just having is trying to figure out the process on their end
mhm.
because they had artwork up on their walls from for years. And so they haven't gone through this sort of thing. And so we're just working out some of the details. On the prints, the expectation is they want to buy about 35 prints. You can see the prices on the screen. That's what they're saying they would expect to pay. So I would encourage you to offer prints in that range, or if your sizes are a little bit different, near that range. We will sit down with them after the call and we'll go through all the different sizes and the prices that you guys submit for those prints. And then they will get to choose. And they may choose to ask for more than just one of a print, but I think it's a great opportunity to sell some prints. And then they deal with the actual retail sale. And on the 2D art that's on the wall or the 3D that's outside, um, yeah, we're just working on making sure that their staff will compare the Venmo receipt that the buyer has with the art tag and make sure that that payment has been fully complete before they move that. And so I've got a call with them tomorrow, and I'm hoping that we get that all lined out. It might take a couple of days for us to update the call details, so it may not go live until Monday. And as part of that process between now and then, we'll sort out dates for the call as well as the reception if we have to move that back. So stay tuned, but it's coming, and I think it'll be a great play. They are very busy and they get a lot of people from Austin. That's why they want kind of
Yeah.
local and scenery sort of stuff. And so I think that sales will be quite good over at Deep Eddy.
yeah. Yeah, I just know I have a trip planned like the 14th through the 18th. So I will be out of town and so that's why I'm like I'd rather not the deadline be the 14th because then it'll just sit. So
We'll, we'll, see-
um
we'll see what happens tomorrow and we'll
yeah,
sort it.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
Okay. Any
Mhm.
questions? Any other questions? All right.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, where do we drop off for both Time and Dough and for Deep Eddy?
Typically, the Freedmans volunteer their home as
Okay,
the spot because we give you kind of a range of some days and times, and then you can drop it off instead of having to be at the place, you know, and yeah, we just need time to
okay, and then the Freedman's, God love you guys. And
yeah,
so then you guys take it to Time and Dough or to Deep Eddy. Good thing they're close, but
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
and this time they're fairly little, so it's not like like you have to get a moving truck or anything.
Yeah. I mean, well, hopefully for the sculpture part, people don't like that. That might be something where, like, no, you need to deliver it to the place
Okay,
if it's going to be a heavy sculpture or something.
Yeah.
okay,
mean, these are new places for us, but this isn't exactly our first rodeo. I mean, I don't know how many exhibits we've done over the last year and a half or so, but probably 10 or more. And so the process, as far as collecting it from you guys and bringing it over there, mounting it on the walls, and eventually changing it out at the end, yeah, we've got that covered. And yeah, we set aside a little bit of space in the house every every few months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right.
All right.
Good question.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the Chamber of Commerce, that's another reoccurring display that we have going on that just is a great pairing. And, we sometimes it's like we'll make the display for like 4 months and they just love it so much and they ask for us to extend it. So we've kind of found with them, they like something that's a little longer than 4 months or 6 months. And the timing of this one, we're also avoiding the holidays. So, so this one is going to be on display for a long time. And they don't really have a theme, but they would prefer not to have like rustic country stuff. They're kind of tired of cows and longhorns. So that's something that they kind of asked us to avoid. This one also has where 100% of the amount goes to the artist, and it's $30 for up to three, and then $5 each additional. And that one, the deadline is September 1st, and we'll have a reception on, I think it's a Thursday, and that's October 2nd. A lot of businesses come in there, and that is one place where we've gotten, a lot of people asking us to do displays. So, so yeah, people love it.
I would also add for any of these calls, you're welcome to go by and take a look at it if you want to kind of get a feel for the layout or what kind of paintings are there now. Definitely at Deep Eddy, what they have now is not anything like what we'll bring in. At Rolling in Time and Dough, they had a variety of artists in the front room. And then we agreed with them that we were going to come in, and the artists that were in the front room chose to take their stuff out right away instead of waiting until we were scheduled to come in August. So it was empty. So we quickly put some stuff on the wall so they didn't have blank walls. So you'll see DSAL stuff on the wall. So it'll look similar. And at the chamber, we've been there for about a year and a half. And so if you want to go over and drop by, you'll see member art up there on the wall already. So you can check any of those out if you'd like.
And I think the format for this one, we're trying something new out, where this will have the artist's phone number on the label, and that the buyer contacts the artist that way, and then the artist facilitates the sale, whether it's through Venmo or a check. I don't know. Um, but in the past, we've tried like a QR code that generates an email that is sent to us, and then we have to contact the artist. And I think there's too much of a lag there, that we're just like, I think it would be faster for the buyer and the artist to make a connection and then handle it from there. So we're gonna see how that one works.
Yeah, I think between that and what we're doing, talking about doing at Deep Eddy with the Venmo, we'll see how those work, and maybe we'll standardize that in the future. But yeah, we're trying a few other ways to make things smoother and quicker.
Yeah, because some people say they don't check their email that often, and yeah, so so we'll see.
Any,
Next.
any questions on the chamber?
There's no one
Size.
question. There's no size limit on the chamber.
Nope. No. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. No. All right.
Okay, songwriters.
Songwriters. I'll let you talk about this slide, Steve, and then
So we are back at Songwriters. For those that aren't aware, we were there last year. That was our first year, and I thought it was fantastic. And the city's so supportive. They invited us to come in and match up art and music, and I think it's just a fantastic atmosphere. And if just generally, if you've never been to Songwriters Festival, I would encourage you to go. It's nothing like Founders Day. It's not chaotic and packed. It's a nice, pretty calm crowd of adults just wanting to listen to free music. There's about 8 stages scattered around downtown. Some are indoors and some are outside on Mercer and Old Fitzhugh. And it's free Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they bring in 40 songwriters from all around the country. So it's a great event to go, even if you don't submit any art into it. So what we did last year, and we're going to repeat with some adjustments to improve the process, but we have 3 different ways that you can participate, and you can choose any or all of these ways. So the first is what we call live art. So we will have space set aside at each of the outdoor stages for our artists to capture the moment and paint live next to or in front of the stage. We had that last year, and I think 3 or 4 artists did that. And, as a spectator, just watching the artist create the art in front of you is amazing. And a lot of interest from them. One of the biggest, well, the biggest piece sold even before she finished it. So that's on Friday and Saturday. All the details are on the website. But that's on Friday or Saturday. So if you're interested, you can let me know, send me an email, and we will block out one of the days, Friday or Saturday, or both of the days if you wish. And we'll line you up with one of the outdoor stages. One of our staff will meet you there, make sure you're all settled in, and so forth. So it's pretty easy on your behalf. So if you've ever tried live art or enjoy live art, or you do plein air and you'd like to do that, it can you can capture whatever you'd like. Some might do a close up of some of the artists, and others might just do the crowd or the stage or whatever. And so that's really up to you. So that's the live art aspect. That call, all 3 of these, the call came out on the 7th. The live art is now open until, well, it's open till September 15th, because all we need to know is who wants to participate, and we'll match up the stages. However, there's only a certain number of outdoor stages. I believe it's 4, it might be 5. And so for 2 days, that means there's 10 slots. 2 of them have already been taken. So if you're interested in live art, the sooner the better, let me know. And then we'll reserve a spot, because they'll be gone before mid-September. There's no fee to participate in the live art. And I think there's a commission structure on the next slide that we'll go to, but there's no fee to participate. But what we ask for live art, as well as the other artists, is to volunteer for a couple of hours, sometime either before, after, or during the weekend, just because all these activities during Songwriters take a lot of volunteers. And so we just ask you to lend us a hand for a couple of hours. Before I move on, any questions on live art?
Oh, sorry. I have a question.
Yeah.
Um, I know y'all did this last year and everything, and I didn't even go to the festival. So I was wondering, what are the materials for the stage, scene painting stuff, and are they provided by the artist or DSAL or?
You would provide everything: the canvas, the easel, the chair, or the paint. So you would provide all the supplies. We would
Okay,
block out a space so that you have a reserved space for the whole day in front of the stage, but you provide the supplies.
gotcha. Okay, Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Last year we called the second bullet summer art, but I think that ASA or artist supporting artists is more appropriate. So as I mentioned, there's about 40 songwriters. They're in the process of finalizing that list. The city's in the process of finalizing the list right now. By the end of this month, we will know who those 40 are. They all get a letter inviting them to participate in this program, Artists Supporting Artists. Last year, I think we had around 25 songwriters that wanted to participate. Once we have that list, which will include their website and their, I think, Spotify link for some of their music, then we share that with all of our artists that want to participate in this ASA program. And then so our artists can choose songwriters that they just feel inspired by. They like the music or they like the look. They just want to capture them. Last year, our artists generally captured the image of the songwriter. This year, we've left it more open. So if you want to capture the image, you may. If you want to capture just the inspiration of the that you get from the art, you can do that. If you want to put some lyrics on the artwork, you can do that. What we realized last year is that when some of our artists captured the image of the person or the songwriter, that if it didn't sell during the weekend, then it was kind of hard to sell it afterwards, which you guys obviously get to take home whatever isn't sold. And so we wanted to make it broader and just whatever inspires you is what you can capture. We're also working with the city, in addition to what we did last year, to have the songwriters come to our tent, our art lounge, which we'll talk about in a minute. And so the artist and the songwriter would be able to sit together and we would do a little bit of a Q&A with the artist and the songwriter and just bring more attention to the artwork that the ASA artists are doing and the pair. And I think that'll be a great experience for the attendees for the whole festival as well. So that one, the due date is July 31st, because by then the city's going to have announced their songwriters, and we'll get that information out to everybody. And we want to do pairings in early August so that all the artists have a couple of months to do the painting. Those paintings, whatever you create through ASA, as well as whatever you create in live art on Friday and Saturday, will go into the art lounge, the third bullet. Before I talk about the lounge, any questions on the Artist Supporting Artist program?
Do you have an idea? So for this one, I think on the call, you email Ivy and she kind of puts you on a list.
Yes.
Steve, do you have any idea how many people she's gotten so far?
I do not know.
Okay.
Last year, I think we had around 10 artists, many of whom wanted to do more than just one songwriter. So those 10 artists did about 20, 25 songwriters between the 10 of them.
Wow.
So if you're interested, as Jenny said, and this is all on the website on the call, but if you're interested, send an email to Ivy and she's getting the list so that when she gets all the information about the songwriters, she'll be able to share that with everybody who's interested. And then we go through a period where we give everybody a chance to check out the music and all that sort of stuff and make their selection or their priorities for who they would like to be paired up with. And each songwriter and artist will generally exchange at least an email to say, "Hey, I've been paired up, so excited." Some had many exchanges and talked about, what inspires them and wanted to sort of interview the songwriter. That's completely optional, but it can be quite an interesting experience to learn more about the songwriters that are coming into Dripping Springs in October.
And then I would also add, as Steve mentioned, last year, a lot of the artists ended up painting portrait of the artists. The ones that sold were the guitars of the artists. So that gives you an idea of that. The more general it can be, it can speak to anyone. So,
Yeah.
um, any requirements for medium? No. So and we'll get to it talking about the art lounge, but we're gonna accept like any medium, anything you want to do. Um,
And I think as far as the ASA program, that can also apply here. That last year was all paintings, but this year it doesn't have to be paintings. If it inspires you to make a sculpture or a metal or glass piece of art or fiber art, you're welcome to do that. Whatever speaks to you.
Good question.
Okay. Art lounge. So last year again was our first year. So excited to have an art lounge it was
Mhm.
60 feet by 20 feet. So it was a really
Right.
large tent. And we got about 200 pieces of member art inside the tent. That included the live art that was made on Friday and Saturday. The lounge is open on Saturday and Sunday. And so it included the live art, it includes the ASA. There's some themes which we'll talk about, I think, in the next slide. But it's a great opportunity to get art out there in front of a good crowd throughout the whole weekend that is very interested in taking home some souvenirs. So the sales, I think we sold about $7,000 or $8,000 of art that weekend, all member art. And so I think it's a great chance to get stuff out there and share your talents. All three of these, we ask that you donate a couple of hours of time, and we'll share lists of activities you can choose from and dates and so forth later. But there'll be lots of opportunities. And
Yeah.
generally, I think everybody found it a lot of fun to be working together
Yeah.
during the Songwriters Festival. Why don't I go to the next slide? You'll see more details, and then if there's other songwriter questions, we can take those.
Yeah. So for this one, we are leaving it up to that there's no theme, but we would mention that last year, like we accepted anything and everything. And the things that did sell usually always related to music or the hill country or Dripping Springs. So keep that in mind. And we'll accept originals, prints, jewelry, ceramics, sculptures, photography, just everything. Accessories. So one thing that was just a huge hit is someone was selling hats.
Yeah.
And I think she brought maybe 10 one day and sold out because all the women would come in and
Yeah.
try on a hat, and then their friend would, oh, I want one too.
Yeah.
And so she came the next day with another round of hats, and she sold, most of those. So yeah, so it's not limited to just two-dimensional art. Um, we would probably, I think the call says something about, so for prints, we would like no more than 5 prints of the same thing. But I think prints is a huge, huge market. And so if you don't do prints yet, maybe look into it. But in kind of a festival market situation, those tend to sell easier than an original painting. Because, again, price points can be a little lower and then you can sell them. But some of the jewelry things that did well, someone had bracelets made out of guitar strings. So kind of, keep that in mind. I don't have kids, but I have nieces, and they are like, do you sell stickers? And I'm not a sticker person, but apparently stickers are a huge hit with everyone. So, small things like that. But in any case, whatever you want to create, make, bring, we would love to have it, but we also need the artist to help us and bring some kind of display item that we could borrow or kind of give us an idea if you do markets and you sell things like this, How do you usually set it up? That kind of thing. So last year we didn't have any clothes. That was something that we have a clothes rack available if someone does bring something like that, but we just didn't have anybody submit that. So if you want to bring things like that. But yeah, we are gonna have, a ton of room and hundreds of pieces. But we are limited in space. And we would love for you to submit early because that helps us and it gives us an idea of what all we're going to have. And so that we don't, or me, so that I don't freak out as much the closer it gets. I would like to have an idea. I'm a planner. So I would just ask people to submit early if you can. And for this one, it's free and you can submit unlimited entries, but the way the Google form works is that it will only allow you to submit 5 at a time. So if you have more than that, just you have to fill out the form each time, but you can just submit that as many times as you need to. So, and on this, like Steve said, we do require each artist to volunteer 2 hours, and that can be whether it's setting up, taking down, helping with the drop off, the art drop off the day before everything starts. Um, it can be helping the planning, like if you're going to be out of town that weekend, you can just do something ahead of time, whether sometimes we need volunteers to contact artists to gather the finer information that we need. Um, but yeah, we need all the help we can get. Um, but for this one, there is a commission structure. So for the live art and the artist supporting artists, it is 60% goes to the artist, and then 15% goes to the art league, 15% goes to the songwriter, or if that's artist supporting artists. And then the city gets that. That doesn't,
So the songwriter, so that's 100%, but the
yeah,
songwriter portion goes if the songwriter is captured or the inspiration for the art. So we try and contribute to usually starving songwriters and participating in the programs that we talked about earlier.
yeah, but if it's live art,
If it's like last year, Jesse Bostad did a live art in front of Growlix, and it captured one of the songwriters that was up on the stage.
okay,
And so when it was sold, there was a portion, there was a 15% that went to the songwriter.
okay.
One of the things that you may not pick up, because this is different from everything else that we do all year. So we gather and provide all the racks and the tables. We, as Jenny said, especially for things like jewelry, we need to kind of either understand how you want it displayed, or if you have displays, which I assume you probably do, that will help us a lot to make sure it's on its best display. But we provide all the racks, and so the sooner we know how many pieces we have, the more we can go out and ask for racks from our members. The other thing is we have staff. We've talked about the volunteers, and we'll have several people at checkout. So the artist does not need to be there during the weekend, and you don't have to process any sales. We will have a check-in process where you drop off your art on location. We will have either a building or a pod that will house all of the artwork overnight, so it doesn't sit in a tent by itself. So it'll be secure overnight. And then our volunteers will help take it out every morning, set up the tent, and put it back in the secure location at night. And our staff will check out. And then after the weekend, we give a report to all the artists of here's what sold and breaking down all the price and the commission structure and sending you a check. So it's pretty hands off and very different from the other calls that we've talked about tonight.
But if you like to just hang out, um, it does, things do sell more if the artist is there to talk about their work. And so that is something that I think, you are welcome to hang out and be around. But
And
and
art, it's called the Art Lounge because we have a lot of sofas and chairs in there. So some of our folks are there, but we also see a lot of people that are roaming around all weekend for songwriters that just want to take a break and a break away from the sun or whatever, and they come in and hang out and they get to look at the art, and eventually a lot of them walk away with a piece of art. So it's a fun environment in the lounge.
yeah. In the art call, we say something about that the artist will be required to make their own art labels. We'll provide a template for you. And then, uh, and we think that this worked well last year, where you make your own art labels, you bring your piece with one of the art labels on the back, and then like a Ziploc bag of the other labels. And we used some plastic sleeves, and we were able to put those on the racks, and the label went in that. So at the end of the night, we took the art off but left the label. So then the next morning when we had to put everything back, we knew exactly where everything went because the label was right there. So that was kind of a nice nice surprise that that worked well. So, again, the closer it gets, or, after the deadline, then you'll receive emails of, just a plethora of more information and the template and how to do all that. But we won't be extending the deadline for this one. September 15th is kind of our hard date because there's a lot of coordination that goes into this. And so we'll need that time to have everything ready by the 17th. So,
The commission structure is a little bit different for the lounge because you're not capturing something from the artist. So you can see the commission structure there for everything that's in the lounge that didn't originate from Live Art or ASA.
yeah, sorry, I skipped over that one.
Sorry.
So, anyway,
Questions for the Songwriter? Any of the aspects of the Songwriter Festival? All right.
next. So then this is just an overview of, oh wait,
Okay, yes, go ahead. Sorry.
of all of the um the art calls that we have going on, and when we aim to install them, when the reception is, and the deadline. So that is something to keep in mind.
And then
And then these are my top tips for art calls. So I just ask people to really review the document in full. There's a lot of information, and you know, pay attention to what, if there's a requirement for sizes or a theme that they want. Um, if we get submissions that don't meet the theme or whatever, then they're out, basically. Um, and again, it's like when we've done a size limitation, it's because, we're trying to show as many pieces as we can, and just, I guess, keep that in mind. Let's see, what was I gonna say? Okay, so then we have a thing in our art calls that talk about the hanging hardware, and we we really, really, really prefer D-rings with wires because they are flexible and they allow us to, um, you know, level it on the wall easily. Um, I really hate the hardware where it's two mounting points because that involves a lot of work on our end. So like if you buy a store-bought frame and it has those two triangles at the top of the frame, do your own, like create your own um, you know, D-rings are really easy to buy and wire. I mean, I buy it off Amazon. But also check to make sure your hardware is secure. Sometimes like we don't love the sawtooth hangers because sometimes it's like that connection point is loose and then, and then it fails. I went, I was dropping off my art once in some place in Georgetown, and the person in front of me had sawtooth hangers on their art, and they told them like you got to come back. And the person didn't live close, and they were kind of pissed off about it, but it's something that they had asked for, and so that person had to go home and fix it and then drive back the next day. So yeah. The other hardware we've seen that we don't like is if you do metal or acrylic prints. A lot of those come with like this cleat system, and that's great if you're installing it at your house. But again, we have to install that, and it, yeah, it's just that we want to be able to put a nail up with the wire and then adjust it easily. So that is something that, we want y'all to keep in mind. And as I noted before, submit early if possible. We know that, we have a lot of artists that say, well, I create work specifically for this art call. And that's great, but keep in mind that we don't make the final decision on what gets in. So, um, but we just think it's really helpful for us to have an idea of what's coming. And Songwriters is the biggest example that I can think of is, that we'll get a lot of submittals the last week of the call, but it really helps to know how many pieces we have to work with. And then my third tip is price your work thoughtfully. And for those of y'all that went to the Price Your Artwork workshop yesterday, they kind of talked about that a little bit, but it does seem like our uh, economy right now is not great, and then a lot of the casual nature of some of these calls, whether it's in a cafe or restaurant, things like that, uh, things that are a little bit less tend to sell more. So, and especially at Songwriters, it's kind of just like a big market. And things generally, I think we sold maybe one thing that was about $350. But most sales were under $100. So, just kind of keep that in mind. You're welcome to bring things that are more, but you might be going home with it again. So,
Questions on this or anything else that we've talked about tonight? I appreciate the tips, Jenny. I mean, we probably had 10 other calls up to this point, maybe more. And so these are some of the things that I think can be challenges. Jenny and a rather small team are putting up all the artwork for all 5 of these calls, except for 4 of them, not the postcards. And so it's a lot of work and it really helps, as well as I hate for you guys to spend the time to participate in the call, but miss the notation about the theme or the size, and suddenly it can't be included. But we welcome a wide array of art based on the themes that are listed here. And I think it's just really important to read the call and think about it, reread it again if you need to, and that should take care of it. But yeah, we're excited to show your artwork all around Dripping Springs this fall.
And for the most part, if somebody submits something that doesn't quite, that there's something, whether it's a size limitation or something's off, I email the artist and I kind of ask them, hey, would you like to submit something else in place of what you sent? Because, it exceeds the size, or it's not a photograph, it's a digital, like a painting, so I will give second chances.
Also,
I want to, oh, I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead.
I want to say that I appreciate you, Jenny. That is very hard work. I've seen you at work with this, and I am very appreciative of the time that it takes and the the amount of effort that you're putting in, and I appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
I think, on the songwriters with the deadline of September 15th, Jenny was talking about this a little bit earlier, but if you're interested in making something that you think would be great in songwriters, you have the time to do it. And what you might want to do is just send an email to Jenny and say, hey, I'm thinking of making this. What do you think? Because we can, especially, based on other stuff you've made or the design that you have, we can tell you, yeah, that would work great in songwriters. So if you want to have that comfort before you make something, you can. For the other ones, it's really doesn't apply because they're short calls. But with songwriters, if you need some input or feedback, then
Yeah.
provide it.
Last year we sent a survey at some point, just kind of getting an idea if people were thinking of submitting, but they just, if they were planning on it. I don't know if we'll do that again. That might be helpful to send that out maybe mid-August or something, and just if again, it's like last year, I mean, maybe 2 people submitted at the beginning and then it was like nothing. I was like, oh no, what's
All
happening?
flooded in.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it would be helpful if people wanted to give me a heads up. So
Oops, sorry.
Any other questions before we close?
I was late to the meeting and I'm sorry about that, but I missed the, which one did I miss? The very first one that y'all talked about, time and go, I think maybe. But I'll go back. This is being recorded, right? So I could even,
It
or,
is being recorded, but what I'll do, I'll send the
okay.
slides out to y'all, so you'll have it. This is a slide we talked about with Rolling in Time and Dough.
Okay,
So-
I just took a screen capture of it, so I'm good, but
okay.
thank you.
And if you have
Yeah.
questions, I mean, we can hang on the line. Just conscious of time if you don't have questions, but if anybody has other questions, we can certainly field those, including on this slide.
Well, thank you very much. That really is perfect. Thanks.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Great.
Hope to see your work.
Yeah.
Get busy.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much, really.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
See ya.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.